All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling a creature that needs no introduction, but buckle up because we're going way beyond Elephant 101 here.
It's amazing how many surprises these seemingly familiar giants still hold.
I am pumped. So, elephants, right? Big, we know. But, have you ever actually stood next to one? I mean, really try to wrap your head around the size.
It's tough to overstate. Imagine, like, a school bus, but alive and walking around. That's the kind of scale we're talking about. They don't get to be the largest land animals by accident.
Okay, yeah, school bus, got it. Huge. But then, on top of that, get this, they're pregnant for almost 2 years. 22 months. Is that the longest of any animal? It's got to be close, right?
It's up there, for sure. And it makes sense when you think about it. Their entire lifespan is different. 50, 70 years in the wild, that's not just longer. It's a whole other pace of life. They mature slower, their social structures are more complex.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Those fascinating details you don't always hear. Now, can we please, for the love of all that is good, debunk the mouse thing? Elephants are not scared of mice, right? Tell me Disney lied to me.
It's a classic, isn't it? That image of Dumbo freaking out. But yeah, total myth. It probably comes from observing how cautious elephants are in general. Sudden movements, little things zipping around, they're not into it. But actual fear? No way.
It's amazing how these things stick around. All right, let's talk trunks. Because over 150,000 muscles and tendons, that's more intricate than some human bodies.
It's true. And the trunk is really what sets them apart. And it's not just strength, although they've got plenty of that. It's the dexterity. Think about it. Delicate enough to pluck a single blade of grass, but strong enough to tear a branch off a tree. That kind of range is just mind-blowing.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a theme here. Mind-blowing is right. But all that power, all those muscles, gotta eat right. What does an elephant diet even look like?
They're herbivores, so plants are the name of the game. Leaves, bark, fruit. They'll even dig for roots if they have to. And considering how much they weigh, we're talking upwards of 50 tons of food a year per elephant.
50 tons. That's more than I weigh in a decade, probably. No wonder they spend so much time eating.
Foraging is definitely a big part of their day, and they're always on the lookout for water too, up to 160 liters a day, which is why you often find them congregating around water sources.
Right. Gotta stay hydrated, especially on a diet like that. Speaking of water, this one blew my mind when I first heard it. They can detect water sources from miles away. Is that for real?
It's true. Especially African elephants. They've been observed finding water sources up to 12 miles away.
Wait, hold on. 12 miles? Are you telling me they can smell water from that far away?
It's a combination of things. Their sense of smell is unbelievably sharp, way better than ours. Plus, they can sense vibrations, which might be coming from underground water sources. Put those two together, and you've got a recipe for some serious water-finding superpowers.
That's wild. I can barely find a bottle of water in my own fridge. But wait, I thought elephants had pretty bad eyesight. How does that work if they're finding water miles away?
You're right, their vision isn't their strongest sense, but that doesn't mean they're stumbling around blindly. They experience the world in a completely different way than we do, relying more on sound, smell, and even those subtle vibrations we talked about. It's like they have a whole sensory experience that's completely foreign to us.
So they're like walking sensory deprivation tanks in a way, except they're hyper aware of everything.
Exactly. And their skin plays a big role in that too. We mentioned it earlier, but I don't think we really got into just how sensitive it is.
Okay, yeah, tell me more about that. What kind of information are they picking up through their skin?
Well, get this. There's research suggesting elephants can actually figure out a person's gender and age just by the sound of their voice.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Just by listening? How?
It seems like they can pick up on these super subtle cues in our voices, the frequency, the pitch, things we might not even notice. And they're using that to tell if you're a man, woman, even a child.
That's kind of creepy, but also really cool. But why develop that skill? What's the evolutionary advantage of knowing if a human is 20 or 40?
Think about it. Elephants have lived alongside humans for a long time, and we haven't always been the best neighbors. Being able to size up who's approaching, maybe even sense if they're a potential threat, that's huge for survival.
Right, it's like their own early warning system.
Mm,
Man, the more we learn about elephants, the less they seem like those big, gentle giants and more like, well, brilliant strategists.
exactly. And their social intelligence is off the charts too. Have you ever heard about how elephant herds are structured?
A little, but I'd love to hear more.
So they live in these tight-knit herds, right? And they're led by matriarchs, the oldest, most experienced females. But these aren't just random groups. There's complex communication, cooperation,
Yeah.
even empathy.
Empathy, like they actually care for each other.
Oh, absolutely. There are documented cases of elephants mourning their dead, comforting each other when they're distressed. Behaviors we usually only associate with, highly intelligent social creatures like us.
Wow, it really makes you realize how much we underestimate animals just because they're different. It's like we assume that because they don't act or think exactly like us, they must be less than.
Right, we have this very human-centric view of intelligence. But elephants, with their incredible senses, their social structures, their problem-solving skills, they really challenge that whole notion.
It's humbling, and it makes you wonder, what else are we missing? What other secrets are they hiding?
Who knows? That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
They have so much to teach us about animal cognition, about social behavior, even about our own place in the natural world.
Okay, so to recap, because my mind is officially blown,
Yeah.
we've got these giant animals with superpowered noses. They can sniff out water miles away. Their skin is basically a sixth sense. And on top of all that, they can tell if you're a man or a woman just by listening to your voice.
Don't forget about those trunks. And we're not even done with those yet. Remember how we were talking about their incredible strength and dexterity?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for more. Lay it on me.
Mhm.
So, more about those trunks. What else can they do with them besides, all the things we just talked about?
Honestly, it's almost easier to list what they can't do. Think of the trunk as the ultimate multi-tool. It's their nose, obviously, but also their hand, their straw, even their weapon if they need it to be.
Okay, yeah, I've seen the videos using it to grab food, spray water.
Yeah.
But you said something earlier about communication. Like, they talk to each other with their trunks.
Oh, yeah, big time. It's not spoken language like us, but they have this whole system of movements, gestures, touches, greetings, affection, even discipline, all through the trunk,
That's amazing. It's like we're watching them have a whole conversation and we have no idea what's being said.
pretty much. And it just adds to the whole picture of how complex and intelligent these animals are. They're not just reacting to their environment, they're constantly observing, learning, adapting their behavior.
It's kind of inspiring, I mean, talk about resilience. They've been around for centuries, seen it all, and here they are, still going strong. Makes you think, what can we learn from that, from their resilience, their social bonds, all of it?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think there are a lot of answers. On a practical level, studying elephants is crucial for conservation, protecting them and their habitats. But beyond that, they teach us about empathy, about communication, about living in harmony with nature.
It's like they're holding up a mirror to our own humanity sometimes.
Exactly. And maybe challenging us to be a little more compassionate, a little more understanding of the world around us.
Well said. Well, I have to say, as we come up for air on this deep dive, I am swimming with new respect for elephants. Forget gentle giants. These are some seriously sharp, sensitive, and strategic creatures.
And we've only scratched the surface. There's still so much more to learn about elephant communication, their memories, their capacity for empathy.
It really makes you realize how much more there is out there to discover, not just about elephants, but about the whole natural world. So, to everyone listening, if you ever get the chance to see an elephant in person, really see one, take it, observe them, listen, and you might be surprised at what you learn. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.